Come on. Hey guys, what's going on, guys and gals? What's going on? What's going on? I'm gonna be doing these a lot. Hey Manuel, what's going on? If you guys can press like on the video so other people can see it. If you press like, other people see that I'm doing it. And they're gonna come and ask questions. And I'm gonna show you guys cool stuff. So if you can press that thumbs up for me and for others, so that they could see that I'm here and that we're doing this together. 1 second. There you go. Nice. Press like, press thumbs up, so that other people can figure out that we're here. And then I'm gonna answer some questions. I know I haven't been making a bunch of videos. I have 2 that I'm gonna film soon that I figured that'd be really nice to make. I think that would be significant and important. How's everybody doing? I'm trying different time zones. Right now it's 6 p.m. in Los Angeles. I'm trying to see if there's gonna be a lot of people this time. Usually we have about 50 people. Right now it's growing. We'll see. I don't know what time, because a lot of you guys are in different countries, and a lot of you guys are, so not necessarily in America. So, well, but then even Europe right now, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. So this might not be a good time, but maybe for the Americans, it's a good time. I'm not sure. But if there's not a lot of people, that's good, because then I can answer questions. I can answer questions for fewer people. It's actually almost better when there's fewer people, because I can really address things in more detail, as opposed to when there's like 50 something people and we can't even get too much in detail, because a lot of people want to ask questions and do stuff. How's everybody doing? How's the coronavirus in your country, and how's you guys are all home, I'm assuming, right? When am I doing my 10 push-ups? I wouldn't wait around for that if I were you. I don't know that that's coming necessarily. Hi, Ruslan. Your music is so inspiring every time I hear it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Manuel, holding tight so far, eh? Yeah, same here. It's tough, and I wonder how long it's going to last. Our president said today he's intending to release the country and unlock the country in a matter of weeks, not months. Not sure how that's going to go down and happen, but let's see. I hope he's right. So, yeah, I'm here. There's not a lot of us, because this is probably not a good time to go live. Most people. What am I practicing these days? Man, I'm about to transcribe this Kurt Rosenwinkel solo that I've been wanting to transcribe lately, because I just finished. Could I talk about playing on minor 2/5s? Yeah, I just finished a tour, and like I'm not happy with my faster phrasing. When I play faster lines, I'm not very happy with my faster lines, to be honest with you. Like I go to the same sort of places. Like I can play that stuff, but it's like it's not really exciting for me. Like. It's the same crap, like, and so I need a little more language. I feel like I want a little more language, so I'm going to transcribe this Kurt Rosenwinkel solo. He's a guitar player, and he's got a lot of really cool language that I consider to be sort of more modern and more relevant and contemporary, not so much bebop-like. So I'm going to practice that. You don't even have that. Well, look, I mean, I can show you a whole lot of things I don't have too. His name is Kurt Rosenwinkel. Kurt Rosenwinkel. He's a guitar player. He's unbelievable. Someone asked me to talk about minor 251s. I'm not sure what you want. I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean by talk about minor 251s? Like, what exactly? What do you want me to address? Because I mean, I'm not really sure how to talk about minor 251s, except that you can probably use the diatonic chord scale of the 1, and that will serve you for all the 3 chords, the 2, the 5, and the 1. Hello. So I'm not really sure. Solo over 251, gotcha. But what exactly? Like a bebop style. I mean, to me, the best. There's nothing to talk about. It's just language. Get this book. It's called the Omni Book. Omni Book. It's a bunch of solos by Charlie Parker. It's filled with bebop 251s. There's a bebop 251 every 6 bars probably. So get that book, the Omni Book. Charlie Parker's solos. It's literally stuffed. This is where bebop lives in that book. This is all Charlie Parker's solos on bebop tunes. And bebop tunes are filled with 251s. So you'll find... You'll find all the... You'll find all the language you'll ever want in those. Omnibook, Charlie Parker's solos. How do you start composing melody or harmony? How do you decide on what chord progressions? You just found the Omnibook. Yeah, the Omnibook is the truth. That's something everyone needs to deal with. How do I start composing? I like to start composing when I hear some kind of melody in my head, when I'm in the shower or in the car, or not by the instrument. The reason I like to compose from hearing something in my head and not when I'm by the instrument is because when I'm by the instrument, I have a lot of muscle memory stuff going on. Right? I have a lot of shit together under my fingers, and I can just go to something. And I don't like to compose from my fingers. I like to compose from my heart. And to compose from my heart, I need to make sure something comes from my heart or from my mind, my subconscious mind, whatever you want, but not from here, not from the fingers. I don't like composing from there. So a lot of times, I mean, look, I can if I have to, and I do. I'm a professional composer for a living. Sometimes I have to write a commercial or a song. I can do that, but I'd rather have it come to me as an idea. And I don't mean the whole piece. I just mean a cool little interesting, like something that comes to me, and then go, okay. And then I can take that idea and walk around with it. Maybe I'll hear a B part, like a bridge. I'll walk around, I'll kind of hypnotize myself, and I'll pretend like, oh, I'm not composing anything because I don't want to scare myself off. And then I start hearing more things sometimes. And then I'll sit down and I'll start playing what I hear. I'm like, okay. Now I'll hammer out the details at the piano. Now that I have the gist, the idea came from the heart, the details, hammering out of the details can come from the head. Or sometimes I'll need to like finish. I hear the beginning of the bridge or the beginning of the B part, right? And then I'll have to, no, I don't hear the end of it, and I'll sit on the piano and I'll figure out the end of that through knowledge, through kind of understanding. How do I deal with chord changes? I hear music with chord changes. I think it's a matter of having it's a matter of having a really nice, like, developed ear. I have a pretty decent ear, and I was lucky to, because since I was a kid, ever since I was a kid, I had a nice ear. So when I hear stuff, I usually hear the chords and the melody together. I've never in my life heard a melody in my head or anywhere that didn't pre-imply a harmony, right? I don't think anyone, I think most people, when they hear a melody in their head, they also hear the harmony. They just don't know that, because the melody feels a certain way only against a bass. Does the melody make any sense or has any meaning, at least in a traditional sense of the words. Let's see. Okay, thank you so much for sharing with us about Barry Harris' sixth diminished scale. I mean, I don't really understand. It's a pretty general question. I'm not sure. I think Barry teaches it so good that. Do you have any take on the ideas around Barry Harris and the sixth diminished scale? Yeah, I need to study it more in depth myself. To be honest with you, I wouldn't dare or pretend to be able to expand on Barry Harris's idea. The guy is a treasure and a gift, and he teaches in New York still, and there's quite a few videos of him online. So that's really cool. I recommend everyone who is into jazz piano seriously and is not like a complete beginner, I recommend you look up Barry Harris piano videos on YouTube and the stuff he teaches. I'm reminding you to press like and thumbs up on the video so that people can see it. When the videos get more thumbs up, they start appearing more in people's not just search engine, but even like their subscription page. The more thumbs up we get, the more people will see this and show up. But I'm seeing the numbers are smaller now, and I understand why. I think in Europe it's the middle of the night. In America, it's like I'm not sure. I think usually when I go earlier, it's we get more people. But this is even better. Like I said, we can address more things, and the numbers are picking up. How do I work on my inner time? There's a video on this channel. That you can look. It's like how to have perfect time. I recommend watching that video. I can give you briefly the methods here, but why bother? Why don't you go find that video on my channel, how to have a perfect time or a good time or something about time, and look it up. I think you're gonna like it if you haven't seen it. That's gonna really help you work on your inner time. Do you recommend to study bebop language a lot before exposing more modern soloing approach? I don't know about the before. I think at least in parallel. But yes, I think if you want to deal with chord changes seriously, if you really want to obtain freedom improvising on changes, I think you owe it to yourself to check out some bebop stuff and some bebop solos, because if you want to check out more modern stuff at the same time, you can do that too. No one says you can't, but I'm not necessarily saying first finish the bebop. You'll never finish the bebop. But yeah, check out bebop language, because a lot of the modern stuff is built on that. Let's go, more questions. Can you tell me about triad pairs and how you would go about using them in my solos? Well, let's see. Suppose well, how the hell do I show you guys? I mean, very simple. Let's see. Pairs of triads. Well, within any scale, here's the C scale. Within that scale, there's all kinds of triads, right? There's a C triad in here. There's an E triad. There's an F triad, G triad, A triad, B triad, C. So so all these triads can be combined, like if you'd like, or I mostly use triad combinations for harmony, like combining two triads that are a fifth apart, a sixth apart, combining those triads then in versions like C triad, G triad, right? You combine them together. Or C triad, G triad, C triad, G triad. Russell Ferrante talks about this a lot. I really recommend Russell Ferrante's videos on how to combine triads. But that's more for harmony, not so much for soloing. Let's see. Yeah, it's really lush, yes. Gabriel Gonzalez. Oh, you heard that stuff. Get the heck out of here. Get the hell out of here. Oh, I didn't realize it was you, dude. Yellow Jackets, correct. That's Russell Ferrante, and he stacks triads all the time. Yeah. Oh, I love this stuff. Don't get me started. Ben Monder pieces are very guitar arpeggio based. What is your approach to that on the piano? My approach to that on the piano would be to transcribe a Ben Monder piece. To be honest, like a lot of the answers are in the music. Like, get your ears really strong. I don't have an approach for that, but Ben Monder is one of the most deep, crazy guitar players out there in terms of crazy, complex, dark harmony. Ben Monder is amazing for that stuff. So I would transcribe a Ben Monder piece like that. Slow it down if you have to, and then see where you land. Like, just because it's on a guitar doesn't mean you cannot transcribe it on a piano. I would do that. Or not the whole piece, transcribe, I don't know, your favorite 16 bars from the piece. And then see where you land. I recommend that Ben Monder is an amazing guitar player and a crazy mind. Thank you for doing this, man. I have a first time ever video edition coming up due to the virus. Do you have any tips for tackling that? Great playing with Bob. Vincent, about the auditions. Go to my channel. Go to my channel and check out the video about auditions. How to pass an audition. I made a whole video about that. So why don't you go look that up? Well, if Manuel, if you like Monder, transcribe Monder, yeah. He's amazing. I mean, for what do you look for in a drummer when you're playing standards together? Some people like to interact more. Others prefer to stay in the pocket. Is there a balance? There's also overplaying. Yeah, I mean, that depends on the style. I first of all look for him to keep solid time. As a drummer, you have different levels of responsibility. You can you have to first and foremost keep time. Jazz drummer, standards, not standards, keep time. Swing, if it's jazz standards. Know how to play with brushes. Know how to separate the head from the solos. Know how to be able to step gear. For instance, if I need some help on my solo and I'm shifting gears, know how to shift gears on the drums without stepping on my toes, which means playing a little more, but not that much more, which means playing a little louder maybe, or like switching from cymbal to cymbal. I need the drummer to know when the soup is too salty that he needs to add water, or when the soup is too watery and he needs to add salt. I need the drummer to know that when we play together. Interact with me, develop on my ideas. Don't repeat everything I play like a parrot, like an idiot. Like if I play, I don't want you to go and just repeat my phrase like a moron. That's stupid. Parroting, it should be done very sparingly. So not too much of that. There's interacting, and then there's stepping on someone's toes. Just like in a conversation, you could have someone who doesn't speak a lot, but when they say, it's very on point, it's connected to what the other person had said. In other words, they're still interacting. They're just not stepping on anyone's toes. So yes, I like interacting. Everyone likes interacting. It's not like some prefer to interact, some prefer to stay in the pocket. No, you have to always be in the pocket. When you interact, you have to stay in the pocket. It's not one or the other. You have to always be in the pocket. Also when you interact. And when you interact, you have to interact with taste. You have to interact tastefully. You don't want to just abandon and jump on. Literally, as soon as the soloist plays some kind of rhythmic idea, the drummer immediately starts playing that idea. No. Have some taste. Be committed to the pocket, to the swing. And then, of course, interact sparingly with taste. Notice how Philly Joe Jones does that. Notice how, a lot of drummers like Philly Joe Jones, who's the busier, Roy Haynes is a bit busier. Like, check out how Roy Haynes does that, how Tony Williams interacts. It's a push and pull between interact and dictate the swing. And then even when you interact, it still has to keep swinging. It has to stay in the pocket. Who are my favorite bass players? Electric or acoustic? How do I practice rhythm subdivision? How do I practice rhythmic subdivisions? I don't anymore. But I subdivide everything all the time in my head. Like when I walk on the street, I'll walk. When you walk on the street, imagine that you're walking left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Slower. Okay, let's slow. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. You can go in your head. Tucka, 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 left, right. 16s. Tucka, 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 tucka. Eighth notes. As you walk, so that you internalize the rhythm in your body. Triplets as you walk. Triplet. As you walk on the street, you can do that. And this way you get it in your body. And you can either hum, like sing quietly to yourself. You can do it with a metronome. You can walk to a metronome. I've done that all throughout high school. I walked to a metronome to school and back and did this kind of stuff. Or I would. So there's a lot of ways. Yeah. So, okay. Electric bass players. Who are my favorite electric bass players? And my synth bass. Not a lot of synth bass guys that I like. There's not a lot of them out there. I like Jay Deal a lot. Jay Deal is a friend of mine. Plays with Janet Jackson. He's a great synth bass player. Jay Deal. Electric bass player. Electric bass players. Shit, man, it's not a lot. I mean, I like my friends. I mean, oh, George Duke. George Duke, of course, but I don't really see George as a synth bass player. I just see him as a keyboard player who played some synth bass like I do. I played synth bass on a million things, but I'm not really a synth bass guy. Yeah, when I was playing with Stanley Clarke for 7 years, I played synth bass with my left hand every night because he'd be up on the neck soloing up here, and I play synth bass. I don't really see George as a synth bass player. I mean, he's amazing at it, of course, or he was rather, of course. Oh my God, absolutely, not a question. But yeah, I figured maybe someone from today. One of my favorite electric bass players, I think, today is Thaddeus Tribbett. Thaddeus Tribbett is great. Thaddeus is amazing. Terry Tribbett. Thaddeus Tribbett. Cornelius Mims from the old school did stuff for Michael Jackson on synth bass, electric bass also. Derek Hodge sounds great on electric. Mono Neon is probably one of my favorite electric bass players today. He's insane, but yeah, the stuff he plays is the guy is just like the guy drips talent. It's just when he walks around, this talent splashing around him. There's so much of it. Mono Neon, Derek Hodge, Thaddeus Tribbett, and of course my friends, Yannick Gwizdala, who I play with, Hadrian Farad, who I play with. They're awesome. I'm forgetting some people. And there's also a lot of people, a lot of bass players that I really like on the scene now. I wouldn't say they're like revolutionary, but they're really, super, super solid players. Like Jimmy Johnson is one of my favorite electric bass players. Unbelievable. Jimmy Johnson. He played with Alan Ellsworth. He plays with James Taylor. Jimmy Johnson is a masterful bass player. Just unbelievable. Let's see. Jimmy Johnson. Let's see. I'm trying to think a couple more. Jimmy Johnson, Pino Palladino is amazing. Unreal, of course. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, mono. What's your? Domenico, I'm trying to translate what you said. Oh, 1 month ago in Roma. Yeah, in Rome. Thank you so much for coming, Domenico. Thank you. Thank you for coming to the show. We had a great time. We were scared we were going to get sick, but we're fine. Let's see. Top 3 standards? What do you mean? I mean, I don't know, like favorite standards to play. It's hard for me to say 3. There's more. I don't really have a lot of top 3, top 2, top 5. I have probably a dozen standards I like playing. That's because I know them well. There's a lot of others that I would love to play. I just don't know them that well. Favorite drummers to play with? Oh man, I've been really lucky. Oh brother. Yeah. I love playing with Gene Coy. I play with Gene a lot because we get called for a lot of the same stuff. Gene Coy is amazing. I've had the chance to play for a bit with Vinny Colaiuta, which of course was, that's what heaven's like, probably. When you die and go to heaven, it's like playing with Vinny Colaiuta, I'm thinking. I just played with a really wonderful European drummer, Nicolas Vicaro, who I love. He was a lot of fun to play with. Favorite drummers to play with. Ronald Bruner on a good day when he's not mad at you for something. He's a tremendous, tremendous force and a great musician, a great drummer. He's just crazy, and sometimes he loses north. But when he's present, Ronald, and he wants to play, he's one of the greatest to play with ever. Let's see who else. Favorite drummers too. I'm missing some. I mean, God, who else was fun to play with? Oh, God, I'm spacing out. What do I think of Russell Ferrante? Are you crazy? Why did you even ask me this question? Russell Ferrante is God. Russell Ferrante is one of my biggest influences in the world. I sound a lot like him. I'm trying to sound less like him. Russell Ferrante is one of the best things that happened to the keyboard, period. Russell Ferrante is absolute genius. To me, way underappreciated and unsung hero. Yes, the jackets are famous, but boy, Russell Ferrante is one of the most original, soulful, emotional, knowledgeable, and tasteful players that have ever lived, as far as I'm concerned. And I have the honor of being his sub at the University of South California. When Russell Ferrante tours with the Yellow Jackets, I get a call from him to go in and sub for him for his students. And I sometimes ask them what he teaches them so that I could learn it too. Yeah, Russell Ferrante is everything to me. Hi, Ross. Saw you live with Bob Yannick in Rome about a month ago. You're truly great. Oh, yeah. Musician inspiration also from you, play bass. You are fantastic. Great. Thank you, Domenico. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, my friend. Niv Naim, what about Israeli musicians? אחי, יש הרבה מאוד. יש הרבה מאוד. מדהימים. Israeli musicians, I just heard a buddy of mine, Gadi Lehavi, who's probably one of my favorite piano players today. Check out Gadi Lehavi. Gadi Lehavi, he's an Israeli piano player. I had a question here about what about Israeli musicians. Dude, Gadi Lehavi by himself is absolutely phenomenal player as far as I'm concerned. Probably one of my favorite players today. And then all the others, of course, Avishai Cohen, the bass player everybody knows, but Avishai Cohen, the trumpet player, is unreal. And now there's a lot of younger guys. There's a lot of younger guys who are coming from Israel, like Nitzan Bar and Ofri Nehemia on drums. Dude, I don't know where they're coming from, but there's so many amazing young musicians in Israel. It's not even funny. It's crazy. Okay, let's see. In college, my professor always says, if you know bebop, you can play anything. If you know it's good foundation, but I know it's good. Are there many differences? Do you still practice it? Well, if you know bebop, you understand a lot. If you know bebop, you understand a lot. I could use to practice it some more. Yes, at what your teacher in college says perhaps isn't the full picture, but it's enough of a picture that I would completely agree with him. Yes. Greenhouse with strings. Oh, don't get me started. Jeff Jordan music. Does Russell have any solo projects? Does Russell Ferrante have any solo projects? You know, sometimes he plays a trio gig here and there in Los Angeles with his friends, and it's always amazing to watch, and it's a lot of fun. He's amazing. And then he also played as a sideman on a lot of other people's stuff, like Eric Marienthal's stuff. Robin, what's her name? I forget. I don't think he has a solo project. Basically, as far as I'm concerned, the Yellow Jackets is his solo project. Don't tell anyone I said that, but he'll disagree with that, but that's what I think. The Yellow Jackets can replace Mark Russo and sounded like the Yellow Jackets. The Yellow Jackets, it wasn't the same, but Bob Mintzer is now. When Bob can't do it, there was a sub a couple times throughout the years to replace Bob Mintzer. If Jimmy couldn't do it, there was a sub other people played. When Will couldn't do it, I think Vinny did a couple of gigs. Coco did some gigs. But imagine Russ Ferrante got sick. Imagine Russ Ferrante got sick, and who would be the sub? Nobody. And that's what I'm trying to say. They're all part of the sound. They all compose and they're all part of the sound. But if Russ can't do the gig, there is no gig. Let's see. What positive trends, if any, do you see in improvised music stateside, globally, wherever? What positive trends? To be honest, Michael, what positive trends, if any, do you see in improvised music stateside, globally, wherever? Well, it's the same positive trends that I always see. It's what, it's what musicians should improvise like. Musicians should improvise compositionally. Musicians should improvise telling a story, having an arc, having a curve, having themes, developing themes. Whenever I see that anywhere, I love it. I just don't see a whole lot of it. There's a lot of people improvising out in the world, and most people, to me, don't know how to improvise. Even people who play very fast and very impressive language, improvisation is something quite different from being able to play on chord changes or just being able to play cohesively, like improvisation also has to do with form of the solo and the storytelling and all that. So when that's missing, to me, that, it starts to suck. When I see that there, I love it. When I don't, I don't. Am I based out of LA? Yes, I was in Boston for 6 years and I moved to LA. I moved to LA because I was in Boston playing wedding gigs and stuff, playing churches, and I got a gig with Brian McKnight. And then I got a gig with Stanley Clarke, and they both lived in Los Angeles. So I figured, well, is it going to be New York or LA, New York or LA, New York or LA? And then all my big gigs started coming out of LA. So I was like, well, I guess my bosses would like me to move there, I'm sure. They don't have to fly me anymore. So I packed my things and moved here to LA, and the rest is history. Press the like button, guys. Press the thumbs up button if you can, so that more people can see this video. When there's a lot of thumbs up on a video, people see it in their subscription page. So please press the thumbs up button. Thank you, I appreciate it. Just for other people, so they could see that we're here, and then they'll let's see. Has classical music played a part in your learning? Yeah, I played classical music for like 15 years. Yeah, are you kidding me? Anything from facility to being exposed to different harmonic structures to melodics. If you're talented, you're going to be learning from everything. And if you're going to be learning from everything, it's not going to hurt you playing some of the best music that's ever been written, which is classical music. From classical music, I learned like how melodies set against harmonies. I learned technique and facility. I learned dynamics. I learned different harmonic concepts because I was already trying to figure out what's happening in the harmony when I was playing classical music. Yeah, oh my God, absolutely. Absolutely. Thoughts on Jocko and Weather Report? Oh God. What thoughts? That's fusion to me. That's the real deal, man. That music laid the foundation to a lot. And by the way, speaking of Weather Report and Jocko, those guys were checking out a lot of classical music. The problem for me today with a lot of guys who play like fusion stuff is they don't really know jazz at all. They don't know jazz at all. Whereas Joe Zawinul from Weather Report played with Cannonball Adderley. And he played classical music. So when he came to jazz, he had all this rich heritage of Western music he could bring into jazz. And you can hear in his compositions that he's influenced by a lot of amazing music, melodic. And then, of course, when Jocko came, that just blew the roof. Weather Report was never the same. Yeah, it was some of the most important music recorded for me. Do you need to start music really young to get to the highest levels of skill in music? to the highest levels? Do you need to start music young to get to the highest levels? Well, most people at the highest levels did start young. But not everyone who started young means they'll get to the highest levels, right? I started very young. I'm not at the highest levels. And I'm sure there's exceptions too. Maybe there's people who started later and got to the highest levels. But I wouldn't really worry about the highest levels if I was you, if I were you. Get better and better and better. It'll be fulfilling. It'll be so amazing. And then if you're at the highest levels at the end or not, I don't think it'll matter. I played with every famous artist on the friggin' planet and won awards and did a lot of stuff. I'm not at the highest levels as a player, as an improviser. Absolutely not. But you can get a lot of things done and you can do a lot of cool things even if you're not at the highest level. Highest levels for me is Brad Meldau, okay? Herbie Hancock. Am I on that level? Absolutely not. But did I record with Chick Corea and George Duke? And did I record with Marcus Miller and tour with whatever? Yeah, I did. So I'm not on the highest level, but you don't have to be on the highest level to do a lot of really, really cool things in life. Let's see. How did you learn to tell a story with improvisation? Or is the practices that you see looking back that helped you get there? A lot of Mativic development stuff. I do it on my channel. Go to my channel, look up the Mativic development videos. I have a playlist, Mativic development. That will help you tell a story. I have a video on this channel that says how to tell a story in your solo. Look at that video. I'm sending you the videos instead of answering because I answered this question through making probably 8 videos. The best practices I found, I made videos out of. Go check them out on this channel. To get to a highest level, you have to learn and study from a mentor. Sure, well, you have to do that even if you want to get to not the highest level. Guys, as far as I'm concerned, there are 2 things, and both of the things are real. There is natural, raw talent, and there is hard work. The more of each you have, the higher you'll go. People at the absolute highest level are usually people who have a shitload of natural talent, and they worked so hard it will make your head spin, right? So the people who are the top, that's usually the most talented people who've ever been born, who worked harder than anyone's ever worked. Usually, again, not always, but usually, if you want to reach, the top of the world-class level, go down in the history. It's usually not just hard work, and it's usually not just talent. It's usually a lot of both. So that's my opinion. Stay alive, then. Me too. I need to stay alive too. Bill Evans piano lineup. I like the stuff with Scott LaFaro a lot. Later. Please, where's the thumbs up button? Yeah, if you guys see the thumbs up button, please press it. It helps the video get visible. People will see and get questions answered. Please press that thumbs up for me so people could discover this video and ask me questions or hear me answer your questions, which I'm sure a lot of people have the same questions. So that's good. What does need to understand? What does one need to understand on the conceptual level to get to the highest level? If this was possible to articulate, then the highest level would be able to be possible to teach. I don't know what one needs to understand on the conceptual level. Probably some way of telling a story, some way of interplaying that's pretty profound and contains a lot of information and takes a lot of things into consideration at the same time, in real time. Probably some level of unique sound, which is also, I don't really know how you develop that. I don't think you develop that. What I mentioned. How do you work through dry spells, those seasons where you don't feel motivated? What advice can you give to the discouraged musician? Limit yourself. Go to my channel and do my improvisation exercises. They basically limit you, limit yourself, and find the freedom in the limitations. Those exercises I teach on my channel are great for that. For the improvisation, how to improvise. And transcribe solos you like. Transcribe music you like. Dry spell or not, there's some solo you really like. Come on, learn it, transcribe it, and then play it in a different key, half step up. Stupid dry work. But it'll help, it'll inspire you to, because it's music you already love to begin with. It's not a random solo you're transcribing, is it? Stanley Clarke thoughts? Well, shit, man. What can I say about Stanley Clarke? Yeah. I mean, shit, the guy is like my second dad. The guy helped me pay rent when I was short on rent a bunch of times. The guy taught me a lot. A lot. He's like a jazz musician with a classical sort of hand approach, touch. He's a businessman too. And he's been around and seen a lot of things. And he revolutionized the instrument at the time. I love him on electric. To me, my favorite, I'll play with him whatever anyway, but when it's upright, to me, the upright is, when he plays upright, to me, that's some of the really coolest moments I've had have been with Stanley Clarke on stage and Ronald Bruner. Tell you this much. What do I think I'm missing from being at the highest level? I don't know. I think I'm not consistent enough. I think I'm not consistent enough and playing great and playing cohesive ideas consistently. I think I freak out and reset my solos a lot. I lose the tracing the line of my solo. That's what I'm missing. And who knows what else, right? Until there's kind of it's a blind spot. I don't know the things that I don't know. You know, who knows what I'm missing? That's really tough to say. I know that when I discover, like, I'm probably missing some originality for that. I'm missing some levels on which my playing informs itself in real time, and how I base what I play on what I've already played, and to what extent what I've already played informs what I'm playing now, like in real time. That could be deeper with me, because the greats really have that. Those are the things that come to my mind. What tips do you have for developing hand dependency on the keyboard? Coming from a guitar background, this has been one of my biggest challenges of learning piano. Hand independence. Hand independence. I would Get classical music books for kids, for both hands, and play those. And play those, and yeah, get kids books, classical. That will help you with independence. It might be under your level for music, but in terms of hands, it'll help. And if you can play Bach, but you know what I'm saying. Get classical music, simple. Just got my upright back today. Who writes the most interesting music you have performed with? Man, that's hard to say. Me. I do. Oh man, who writes the most interesting music? I don't know. That's a tough question. I really don't know. I learned more from your live streams than I have ever learned in school. Thank you, Jonathan. That's awesome. I'm glad. Yeah, schools can be very helpful and very not helpful. Matt Jones writes amazing music. Matt Jones is arranger, keyboardist, composer. Matt Jones is unbelievable. He's in LA now. You guys, I'm going to be done for now. I'm going to be doing this every other day or whatnot. I'm going to be trying different times. Do I know anyone, a friend, a good jazz player who doesn't have a degree in music? Yeah, most jazz players I know who are good don't have a degree in music. What the hell do you need a degree in music for? That's about it for now. I'll be back in a day or two. Love you.